Good morning. I'm here to talk to you guys about heaven on earth. I know most of you never thought about it, or probably just think, only the spiritual heaven exists, the afterlife heaven. But it drives me nuts to think that we have all the resources to make this heaven on earth, and we're too blind to see it. We are programmed heavily by this capitalistic, democratic monopoly game where everyone's looking to win and everyone's losing. I want to start the Church of Heaven on Earth to show you guys the blueprints on how to get to heaven on earth. There's a lot of ground we have to cover, and this is going to be like a 20 episode series of all the things we had to cover. And the reason why I do this is because I think we're not living to our full potential. And every day lost, every day we live in this dysfunctional world is a day lost in paradise. So I have a sense of urgency of getting all this information out to get you guys qualified or equipped to be a heaven maker. And it's just the reasons why we need it are abundant. There's so many reasons. This world is so dysfunctional. I cannot believe how bad it's gotten. And in a way, it's all our faults. It's everyone's fault, because I have this theory where I think it's easier to be part of something dysfunctional than something functional. You see, if you're part of something dysfunctional, you have no responsibility, no obligation, no organization. You don't have to be part of anything. It's easier to be part of something dysfunctional, kind of like a marriage. If you're in a dysfunctional relationship, it's easier. One partner says fuck you, the other one says fuck you, and that's it. No maintenance, nothing, no responsibility. It's just, but the thing is that dysfunction leads to disaster. That's why there's so much divorce, and that's why there's so much problems in this world, so much chaos. People really don't want the obligation to be part of something functional. And I think that's the underlying problem. That's the foundation of all our problems. Because people just, we have a capitalistic mind frame, and there's nothing wrong with capitalism, but the mind frame is fucked up. Because everyone thinks, as long as my paycheck is in the mail, fuck the neighbors, fuck the neighborhood, fuck the world, And as long as I'm getting mine, who cares about the rest? And then when you don't get yours, then you're like, fuck, I wish this world was functional. So this series is for people who really want to take matters into their own hands and make something functional. Oh. I'm sorry. This is Siri. I said series and Siri turned on. So, yeah, this is gonna be for people that want to be part of something functional, that want to take matters into their own hands, that want the responsibility, the obligation, and are ready for change. There's a lot of people that are afraid of change, and this is not for you. But it's funny how back when the African Americans were slaves, I think I saw that 99% of them didn't know they were slaves. And I think that's what's happening today. I really believe that we're all slaves to a money printer, to the printer that prints the dollars. We're all slaves to that printer. And it's funny because we're all humping, we're all working, we're slaving away to a printer that prints money out of thin air. It's just a basic printer. And that's our whole life goal. We obsess with money. We work for money. We're constantly, thinking of how to make the next dollar. We're so caught up chasing money that we don't really concentrate on our quality of life as a whole. We need social goals. We're just so selfish with this capitalistic mind frame that it doesn't allow us to see the big picture, where we should be worried about each other's quality of life. You know, how's my neighbor living? How's my mom doing? How's my dad doing? Everyone's just so alone in this game that that's what we need to reverse. That we socially want to get together and improve our quality of life. And I got the perfect plan to boost the quality of life at least 500%. 500%, people. And it's going to take some teamwork. It's going to take a lot of effort and a lot of communication and all of these things. But the goal, or I can't think of the name, I'm sorry. The goal, the prize at the end of the tunnel is the first day of the perfect world. Think about that. What would be the first day of the perfect world? What would that look like to you? Wouldn't it be amazing to think, wow, no more slavery, no more taxes, no more loans to pay, no more fucking school to go to, just unity and no more dysfunction, a perfect world with liberty, freedom. It would be great. People don't think about this shit because religion has taught them to put those feelings off until the afterlife. And so, because I call this a Church of Heaven on Earth, doesn't have to do with believing in anything spiritual. I'm really a materialist. I believe in the physical, and that's what I think we all should be. But I'm not going to mess with your spiritual beliefs. Well, I'm gonna get you to act here, because living a spiritual life in a physical world is not that demanding on the physical world. Like, if we have all the resources to make this heaven, why are we going to wait for the afterlife heaven? And I think we could all agree that the afterlife heaven is going to be spiritual. And, who knows if you even have your eyes, your ears, your senses. If you, we don't know anything about it, and no one does, and no one can say they do, because they're full of shit. So if you like flying, floating, or whatever, right here's a place. Right here's where your dreams are going to come true. The world is a canvas to the mind, and we can make this paradise if we decide to. We have all the resources and all the tools to make something perfect. But I don't know what's going on, people. We're waiting on an election to decide. And okay, maybe you believe that President Trump, or your president, wherever you are in the world, is going to make this a better place, but no one has a goal of perfection. No one tries to perfect their cities. And that's what makes me, kind of question where we're going with these elections. Like, yeah, some candidates are better than most and this and that, but perfection is not the goal. And that's what I think the goal of politics should be now, to reach perfection. So, a little story about myself and how this whole thing got started, the whole Heaven on Earth got started, is that back in 2007, I want to say, we were at a museum exhibiting Leonardo da Vinci's inventions. They had them scaled down to little models, and you'd put on some headphones and walk from each model, walk through the models, and it'll explain to you what each model and the invention it was and how he did it and all this. So we were walking through. He had like 30 inventions. I'm not gonna bullshit you. He had a lot. He was a badass. But we were running late. We had to meet up with some people outside, so we took off our headphones and just walked through the models to see what it was. And then we passed by a model of a city, and I thought to myself, damn, did this guy invent the perfect city? And that's why I'm telling you this, because that's what politics should be based on, trying to aim for perfection. So I stayed with that idea and thought, man, what would be the traits, the characteristics of a perfect city? And I've been working on this for 15 years, more than 15 years, 17, of the traits of a perfect city. And one of the biggest traits is circulation, how everything needs to circulate among that city so everyone can have a better quality of life. And I invented a new form of economy that concentrates on circulation, and it's called United Capitalism. And that's one of the steps to heaven on earth, a new form of economy that's more heavenly, more equal, more, I don't know, more just for everyone to get into the economy and not be a slave to this money and printer, this printer of money, I'm sorry. And yeah, so there's three steps to get into heaven on earth. And it's first step is united capitalism. Second step is a new currency that will delete all your debt, everything, and it'll be representative by the third step, which is public airlines. So there's three steps. Public airlines is like publicly owned airlines where the money that we're going to invent, which is called the Aero, is a ticket to fly on the public airlines. And therefore, we have our own currency that we can print as much as we want out of it. And it'll always be representative because it's a ticket to fly on this airline. So there's three steps, and that's what I want to take you guys through. So we could get to that first day of the perfect world. That motivates me. If that doesn't motivate you, maybe you're in love with this dysfunction. Because that's another thing I've noticed. People value dysfunction. You see it posted all over social media. You see dysfunction. People start laughing, sharing dysfunction. And, that's cool, but the dysfunction has to stop, man. If we're all to survive, the dysfunction has to stop. Because, like I said before, dysfunction leads to disaster. And then once disaster hits, that's when we're wishing we weren't dysfunctional. So this is kind of like a proactive approach to the dysfunction. So I just want to introduce the idea of the Church of Heaven on Earth and wanted to see, what you guys think about it. Please comment, let me know. And yeah, I'm going to go through this whole series and teach you guys exactly the blueprint of how to get into heaven on earth. I think we can do it. And if you guys have a better idea, I'm willing to go with it. But I've been working on this idea for 17 years, and it's pretty solid. It's a great foundation to build on. It's a concrete foundation. And I'm just going to stop there because we have a lot of ground to cover. So join me. I think we can do this, guys. Thank you.